Continuing our chats with MLCs, and I'm joined by Tim Crookall. And before we came on, we were trying to do the maths about how long you've been in since you were head of what was it?
Education.
Education, of course. Yes, even when you were in MLC, you had that, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. Alan Bell decided he would let me stay on because they weren't too far away from the general election, and rather than upset the apple cart, if you like, he was happy with what I was doing, so he just decided to let me stay on.
So that makes it 4 years-ish now that you've been in MLC, and I don't think we've really talked to you since. What goes on up there? No one wants to talk to us, or is it just you just get on with your job?
No, what, me personally, or just MLCs?
I don't know.
You just get on with your job. You do the scrutiny, you do your department work, you do the other bits and pieces that are involved, you do constituency work, and that's a sore point. I thought you might do that.
Yeah.
We are paid for by the island. We do have constituents. It's an island-wide constituency for us. Just this morning, I, like other people, got a letter from Castletown. You get on the case for that. So, we do have island-wide constituents.
Are you enjoying it?
Love it, absolutely love it.
Did you ever think about doing this? I mean, did you ever, when you did your manifesto to be in an MHK, do you ever go, oh, I'm quite happy to go up there, or did you see it never as a possibility, or it was a possibility, I suppose?
No, I think it was always a possibility. When you join Tynwald as such, as I did, I joined as a Keys member, and that was the first and foremost thing in my head at the time. At that time, there was no point in, and one day I'll progress on to be MLC. That just came later, naturally, if you like.
What was your opinion of MLCs before you were one, though?
Absolutely the same as it is now. They absolutely serve a point. Tynwald provides a service to the Isle of Man. It does a good job, I think. The three chambers, the tricameral system works. It's a good system, and I think we messed around with it at our peril. Tweak it by all means. Maybe the numbers or something like that, but it's a good system, and that's why Jersey, for one, have looked at copying what we do. They probably won't do it, but others have looked at it. It's a good system. It's unique, but it works.
And as Vane report, what did you think to that then?
Not a lot, to be honest. And you've seen the results of the report. What we've picked up from it, what we've done with it, and what we've used and what we haven't. But it was a very thorough report. But I don't think he got the gist of how we do things and what we do, how we work on the island. But we looked at it and we've taken some bits, and we move on.
Okay. You've had the chances to be the MHK and the MLC, so let's go back to how it works in workload. Mm-hmm. Give us your idea of how it was and how it is now. Then,
right. If I can take you back to right from the start. I mean, I spent 16 years as a commissioner, and that was all free, and that took a bit of your time and stuff. And then I stood for Keys in 1996, and I got a good battering there. Got a good lesson from Mrs. Hannon. 2006, 10 years later, I came back, I beat her, and you think that being the commissioner sort of prepares you a bit, and it does a little bit because you get to know names and faces. From then on, it's just your feet don't touch the ground. It really, if you're doing the job properly, it's a busy life, it really is, and you think it can't possibly get any busier when you get your departmental jobs, all your committee work and things, and you think this is busy. And then you might get another couple of committees or select committees thrown in, and you go, oh my God, I can't get any more time in this. And you've got family and things to do at home and things. And then all of a sudden, fortunately, I was made a minister. I think, oh my, there just isn't any more time in the day. And it gets busier. And, it's such a busy job. If you're doing it properly with all your constituency work, your departmental work, and everything else that goes with it. But it's a great job. You do go home at night and you just think, some days you have bad days, but the majority of the days you think, that was a good day. Managed to do this, do that, and all sorts. Yeah, really good.
But that cut and thrust compared with being an MLC, where you technically don't have a constituent to worry about. Technically, I know.
Yeah. Point made.
So,
But what I would say to you is, and I said to you before about constituencies, I raised that, and certainly having done the 16 years on the local authority and then 9 years on the Keys, still, even this morning, last night, walking my dog, when I go out around the town, people are moaning to me about this, that and the other. If it's not Pearl Harbour, it's the state of this, the state of that, or, they generally have a moan at us. And I take that on board, and people say, why do you do that? You don't have constituencies anymore. Yes, we do. What do you expect me to say? Go and see one of the two members for Peel England Labour?
Yeah, but are you saying you just for the Peelish area, or are you happy to talk to people in Ramsey or
anywhere.
whatever?
We get stopped everywhere. We're all recognised. All 33 of us are recognised no matter where you go. Yeah. And people will take that opportunity to come and talk to you, whether you're in the local supermarket, on the beach, or having a pint.
I will give you due, because I think we've done some interviews in the past on certain things, and you've been in touch to try and follow it up. So I will give you that. Is that sort of thing you see us?
It's absolutely part of the job, Paul. And I'm not just saying that for the camera and that. If you're doing the job properly, you're paid for by the ratepayers, by the taxpayers, you absolutely should be doing it.
Do you miss the power of being the minister?
No, not at all. Not at all. I thoroughly enjoyed that job for 5 years. I knew when I put myself forward for Legco, I was fortunate enough to keep holding it for another 18 months. I knew that was going to go. I don't miss it at all. Been there, done that, and you move on.
How do you think it's being held together these days?
What, by Minister Green? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's doing what he thinks is the right thing to do.
The pause, I thought there.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, but he's doing what he thinks is right.
What he thinks is right. So you don't agree then?
Well, not with everything he does. No, not at all. And we have those discussions. Mostly what he's doing, you can see where he's coming from. He's obviously pushing Castle Rushen High School, as he was just now when we're having a discussion. But people always do things their own way. A new brush sweeps clean and stuff. So, yeah.
All right. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what you've achieved then in these 4. Of course, there'll only be one more year technically until you could be up, of course. Yeah,
obviously we've just had February Tynwald, so we're now sort of into the last year for 4 of us.
Yeah, and are you going to stand again?
At the moment, yes, I would say yes. Yeah.
Okay, right. So, what have you achieved over the last 4 years?
Well, I think we've managed to, first and foremost, within Tynwald members, I think we've managed to build that bridge again back with, after the last general election, there was definitely a feeling after Lisbane that, Legco were going to get an absolute kick in, we were going to sort them out, if not get rid of them, we were going to deal with it. I think we've managed to persuade the new members, and there was 12 of them, that actually, we do provide a really good service to Tynwald and we do a job of purpose. And I think that some of them have changed their views of what Legco do. They might not all agree still with how we do it and what we do, but I think we've done that, and I've been part and parcel of that team.
What's your biggest achievements since you've been an MLC?
Well, it's got to be the scrutiny that we do. We get taken to task by Tynwald over how we do the scrutiny and things. But
you haven't put any, I can't remember now, but you haven't put any private members, bills forward or anything like that?
No, there's very, very few private members' bills come through from...
so you're happy to just scrutinise now?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, that was the reason for going there. That's obviously part and parcel of their job, What I was looking for after Lisbane was, there was touch and go as to whether we'd lose the departmental work. I certainly enjoy that. It's a great part. And if you don't understand how departments work, then when it comes to committee work and things, you would find it a lot harder to do those jobs. So
it's also a pay rise lift, isn't it? To be on a department.
It absolutely is. Yeah, it's a 30% uplift. So that's yeah.
So let's talk about the money side of things. Are you worth the same as being an MHK?
I personally, the amount of work I do and the amount of time I put in, I would say yes. Now, if Keys want to have a look at it and change it, I've got no problem with that if they can persuade me otherwise. Mr. Cretnier said he does a lot less work now, and he would take. I'm not sure he'd say he'd take a pay cut, but
I'm going to say that, but
no. But he said he does a lot less work now. That's him, but I certainly, am doing 5 full days a week and more, as most MHKs and MLCs do.
Okay, well, obviously before we finish, we have to talk about the expenses as well. This keeps going on, and everyone's got views, but no one seems to want to change anything. Did you have a different view, or have you changed your view?
No. I think change is coming, and it needs to come. The expenses were there before MHKs got paid, and it was there for those. It was basically expenses to cover those before salary was there to cover your expenses.
Yeah. How can you have that amount of money without any sort of listings of what you're doing?
And there's no excuse for it really, but it's the way it's always has been. So the committee are now looking at it, the emoluments committee, I think it is, are now looking at it, and one way or another it will be sorted. Either we'll have to put claim forms in, and I don't think it'll come to that. I think it'll all be subsumed into the pay package.
But you think it should be the same amount of money for both? You don't think MHKs deserve more, and you stay where you are, or you should take a pay cut?
I personally don't think there should be a cut at all. But I'll go. The Keys are the powerhouse, and they're the ones that will make the decision.
And any reductions in the size of government?
Twice I've said it on the floor, Tynwald now, or Keys, or Legislative Council. If we want to lead by example, there's a good chance, good opportunity for us to sort of cut the numbers. I said it certainly in Tynwald, and Richard Ronan seconded me one day to say, if you want to lead by example and save £1 million every 5 years, get rid of a couple of members of each house. But nobody's ever had the to do it.
Girl power.
Yeah,
up there on your shelf now. It's quite a different look. Has it brought a different feel to the whole thing? Yeah,
it sort of feels different. You lose. Jane Paul Wilson was obviously with us for 9 months before the election, but after the election we've got 5 women back up there now, and it has changed the dynamics of it. And I won't say what I normally say, and I do say it when the girls are around, but it has changed. Obviously, it does. When you lose 4 men, you get 4 ladies in. Yeah. Saying Jane was there beforehand. But
do you feel threatened for re-election? Do you think there's such a tidal wave now of balancing everything up?
I don't feel threatened, but by the new members.
Just by you're a man almost.
No, not at all. No. I mean, I feel threatened because I'm getting old, and I think there's younger people out there that could probably come in and do a better job than me. Absolutely. There's always somebody better.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So why are you standing there? If someone can do it better, you should
if
stand down.
If they come forward, Keys members should put them instead of me. That's what it's all about. We know it's a 5-year contract every 5 years, and if there's somebody better comes forward, I'd quite happily go. Thanks, I've been beaten. Thank you, and good night. Absolutely.